everyone, and welcome to season 2 of the podcast. I'm so excited for this episode. We have Jaclyn Carmen in the podcast today, in the episode. I'm so excited, and to dive right into it. So, Jaclyn, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you for having me. I am Jaclyn Carmen. I'm an artist, astrologer, energy healer. I kind of fell into everything. I was like, I want to have a life where I'm actually having fun because I worked in like a super still office setting and I just like wasn't happy. So now I'm just having fun being an artist, astrologer, energy healer. So a little bit about me is yeah, I started more of these things as a hobby and then pursued them full time. So it really is my passion. And it was such a journey to get here. And there's a lot of journey that I've walked and wisdom that I'm open to sharing. So thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to start with intuition. And so, how did you, because when we're younger and growing up, if we're not already in this world, we lose a lot of that intuition. It's kind of like programmed out of us, so to speak. How did you come back to that? Like, I didn't even really know what intuition was when I was younger. And so, how did you become aware of that? And how did you get back into using your intuition and getting back into your body and listening to yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question because as we go through our schooling, whether it's like, high school, elementary school, and then more of a higher education, college, graduate school, etc., we're not really taught intuition. I'm like looking back, I don't think one time I was even taught a teacher anything about intuition. So I think for me specifically, it was more about my actual life experience. As I got older and I was more in the workforce professionally, there was a lot of moments where I had to trust myself. And trusting myself was essentially trusting my intuition. So in my career, I was in the analytical side for apparel and fashion. So I would need to predict different things and forecast out different trends. And a lot of times I would just ask myself, like, what do I think? What's my opinion? And then I would go off of that rather than actual like data. Because some of these things you can't predict off of data. So that was like more of my logical mind. So over time, I just started seeing that the more I like trusted my gut, I was actually right. And I got to see like big examples, right? Like quantitatively of like, wow, because I advocated for this decision at this company I was working for, we just made X millions of dollars. And because I was doing that over and over, I was like, wow, I actually know what I'm doing. So that was like the base, but that didn't happen until I was in my professional career. So that was like the base. And then as I exited that side of my life and that chapter, I started leaning into it more and I was like, we all have an intuition. It's something universally everybody agrees upon, right? So I was like, why don't we like sharpen that and really lean into that? So I started doing that exact thing. So I would do like silly practices of using it. So I would be in the car and I would be like, all right, I don't have my GPS on. Do I go left or do I go right? And I would look at the left side and I would look at the right side and I would practice feeling in my body of like, what does my body say? Does my body light up and expand when I look in a certain direction or does it contract? And it would be like this most subtle, like, feeling. So it wasn't like super obvious, but it was like it was there if I just paid attention. So then I started doing stuff like that more and more and more. And then the body, signals started getting more profound of like, oh, would look right. Or maybe a different decision I was using my intuition. My body would expand. or should I go here or should I go there? Should I do this or do that? So my body would like be communicating. So then eventually I just started getting into this rhythm of like, okay, this is working. Because when I would get the signal, I would go down the path and then it ended up working out. Or if it didn't work out how I thought, it would work out actually better. Let's say I'd find a shortcut in the cutting the streets with the car example. So then I started building more trust. I think with intuition, one, practice, practice, practice is key because you build your self-trust and then you can take bigger and bigger leaps because you trust yourself. And eventually, at some point, you get yourself into a situation, not in like a bad way, but it could be good. It could be, positive or more of a challenging, where you need to rely on your intuition and you make a big decision. And when you overcome that, you just feel like so strong. And you're like, wow, my intuition has really gotten me, this super strong outcome that I never expected. So, just to summarize all of that, I would say it took time just trusting myself and I had more of a data viewpoint in my career. And then it started with me just, playing with intuition and doing, trusting, seeing what the body was signaling, and then eventually just using that in my day to day. So that total outcome is if you were to ask me like right here, right now, I there is not one problem that I can't solve on my own with my intuition. Like full stop. As clear as I can say that. And that is because of the path that I've walked. And this is anything. This is like impossible stuff. All it takes for me is to sit in quiet time and just see how I feel or reflect. It might take a couple quiet times, But I think if everyone reaches that point, like think of how empowered like the collective group will be. And I know we have, different challenges on our planet, but it's like if everyone practices the promise, it is so worth it. So thank you for asking that question.
I love that. It's a journey. And that's so wild that you gave the example of the directions because I don't do directions very well. My GPS is basically always on. I love that. Your intuition is so, 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 so sharp for that. I probably end up 2 hours away from home if I did that.
Well, to your point, it is facing, I didn't mention this part, but it is facing like fear. So it's like, okay, what if
Yeah,
I make the wrong turn? And it's
right.
kind of like this energy of, you know what, I'll figure out the next turn then. Or, there is a fear element to it.
It's also like, and so that's a small example, but you can literally apply that to any area of your life in terms of like trusting your intuition is scary, right? Like it is a little nerve-wracking because it's like, will this lead me astray? Because when I was a child, I was told that it was bad or wrong or whatever the narrative is, right? So it's like whatever it is, the fear of not following your intuition or following your logic. Logic is still good and helpful. We still need that, but it's pairing it with your intuition and it's basically we're talking about like masculine and feminine energies, right? It's like the logic being the masculine energy and the intuition being the feminine energy. And it's like, how are we going to parent ourselves to make decisions going forward in our life? And for me, using my intuition, it was really like I love the body piece that you were saying because for me to follow my intuition, I really have to be grounded. I really have to sit with myself and feel into my claircognizance, like feel into my heart space and my knowing. Sit in silence and literally ground, be in nature, be in my own vibe. Or sometimes I need a little bit of a distraction. So I'll either play something inspirational like music, a channeled message, oracle cards, just to kind of see what the vibe is on what I'm feeling for a certain situation or whatever. And usually the clarity will come in. So if there's anything that you're unsure about or you feel you need clarity on, sitting with yourself, grounding, trusting the little nigglies. Like it's like what you were saying of like just literally trusting your gut, trusting your body. It's like it's the contract and the expand. Like, does this light me up? Is this exciting? Or is it like I want to run away? And there's a difference between I want to run away and I'm contracting and like fear, right? So it's like we can still have the underlying of excitement. So you can still be like a little bit afraid or fearful, but have the underlying of excitement because we're afraid of the unknown or the comfort zone is getting pushed a little bit. So, and the more you work on your intuition and leaning into that, the stronger it will become. It will become louder and louder as you go about your practice there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to your point, there is like a moment where when I was doing this intuitive practice, there was moments where my body would be like, my heart would be like beating out of my chest. And if I could be like, there's one or two things that I could take from that is one is, oh my God, this isn't the right decision. Or two, I was hitting a growth edge. So I there was moments where I had to discern. That's like another key piece is like discern of like is my body like feeling anxious or the heart is beating really fast because this isn't where I should go down? Or is it like I'm actually just hitting a growth edge and once I move through this, which growth edges usually have fear with them, once I move through this, it will dissipate and the fear was an illusion. So that is another piece of it because, and you touched on this, and I just want to emphasize is like if we got to that moment where our heart is beating, we're feeling anxious, and then we back down and we just continually do that, all we're doing is staying in the comfort zone. And the comfort zone just you it's basically you hit a ceiling
Yeah.
and moving through that is where all the gold is. So there's more to the practice, to your point.
Yeah, that gave me chills because I literally have an example of how this came up for me recently. And this happens all the time. Like whenever I have an idea or a download or I want to do something, I get nervous and anxious too, right? It's like we all do. It's part of the human experience. And when I wanted to start up season 2 of my podcast, it's been a long time. Like I haven't done an episode in like over a year or a year maybe. And like I was nervous. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna full send. I'm just gonna do it full send. Like we're gonna lock in, we're gonna do it. But a part of me was like, maybe I should just cancel and just not do it. Because it's like there's still a part of me that was like, I'm safe by not doing it. I can stay safe, right? And that's ego and that's fear.
Mhm.
And I can stay safe in my bubble and hide and just not do anything. But it's like, I want to speak and share and like this is what lights me up. Like I love having conversations with people. I love talking about these kinds of things. So it's like I'm doing myself a disservice by staying safe. And it's not really safe. And it's not really comfortable. It's uncomfortable for me to not be doing this. Do you know what I mean? So it's full sending on what it is you want to do and moving forward with your intuition.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say that there's never, I mean, I'm like thinking as I'm speaking, there's never been one time where I made a decision and I had a regret. Like, I maybe right after I was like, I had a regret that I did that. But as time went on, I was like, no, that was definitely the move. So I can say to like everyone, following your intuition is definitely worth it. And you really don't make mistakes. And I know that sounds like so cliche, but it's so true.
We never make mistakes. All we do is learn.
Exactly.
All we do is learn. And like, there's been so many times where I've done something where it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. But the thing is like, all those times I am grateful for because I've learned from it. It's also about, I feel there's also a timing piece as well. Now we can move beyond time and space, but at the same time, we still live in a time dimension. So there is still a timing element to things. That's a whole other conversation, I feel. That's a whole other complicated thing. Yeah, I love that. Intuition. We could probably speak for hours about intuition and all that, but I kind of want to talk about identity because this can kind of segue from intuition into identity because it's also about knowing who you are. For the longest time for me, I couldn't tell you what my hobbies were. Couldn't tell you what my favorite thing was, couldn't tell you what my style was, couldn't tell you anything really. And it might be really obvious things to people in my life that are just like, oh, like this and this and this and this. Like, I know who you are. Because it's like, well, yeah, like you talk to me a lot or you know me or whatever, but it's like, I don't know who I am, you know? And it's like, I can't listen to my intuition without knowing who I am because I wouldn't know what decision I need to make. So I'm just curious on how you came into your own as you've navigated the last few years of your life and in your life in general of changing and coming into the version you are today in terms of identity.
Yeah, I think identity in total is such an interesting conversation because a lot of times, and this is what I've seen just from like talking to different people and being an astrologer, a lot of times people don't know who they are, and it's not really their fault, right? Like we're born into different families and let's say a certain family is like a doctor family. Like everybody's a doctor, everybody is a scholar. Like there's not the artists or the poets, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, this person's born into a doctor family, so what do they decide to do? Be a doctor or be a scholar of some sort, academics, instead of the creative stuff. And I think, but let's say their astrology chart is super, super creative. They're going to feel as they progress in their life a big dissonance. It's not going to feel good. Things are going to be hard. There might be like massive challenges. So that's similar energetic, but that's something that's part of their lifetime to uncover of their identity. So that little like story, that wasn't my exact story, but that was basically what happened to me. So I was born into a certain energetic of a family, and so I kind of went into that. And then as I progressed into my life, there were things that got really challenging. And eventually, there was a moment of a situation that kind of changed my trajectory. And I landed into my identity of where I am today. So, like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, I was more in like an office setting, very businessy. My parents had their own businesses. They were in the restaurant industry to be specific. So I grew up working in restaurants my whole life and understanding, the value of hard work. Those people work so hard and just like business in general. And as a little kid, I wanted to be an artist and a fashion designer. So I remember having a conversation. My parents had me meet with a college advisor, so someone who's very knowledgeable about, that step and different colleges and how to get there and this and that. And the college advisor point blank told me, he's like, "You're not going to make any money as an artist." And I looked at him with so much fear because at this time was 2008 when we had the whole market crash. So there's no way, I look back at my younger self, there's no way I would have pushed through and trusted my gut of like, oh, I'll be an artist when the entire society market was crashed. My parents, the model I had was, hustle, 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 work, 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 over 10-hour days every day, never vacation, et cetera, et cetera. Not much space for creative, energy to flow. And yeah, so I was like, all right, well, what am I going to make the most money in? That was my energy. What am I going to make the most money in that I can do? Like I was like, I can't be a doctor. So that was what skewed my choice. But I was always designed energetically to be an artist. So as I went throughout my career, I mean, I was good at it. So I learned a lot of like structure and analytics and how to think about things. But the way my mind worked was always from a creative lens. So I'm glad. I don't have any regrets that I went in the business, very rigid corporate America, New York City, you know, 9 to 5. It wasn't 9 to 5, it was more like 7 to 8. Long hours. And I learned so much, but I hit a point where I was like, my body was just like, I can't do this anymore. My mind was spinning like a top, like so much anxiety, so much like, chaos, so much like I had like depression. I was drinking all the time. Like I couldn't wait for happy hour. Like it was like so bad, like overall. And then when I had the courage to completely leap into what brought me joy and like happiness being an artist, even though I had this like preconceived notion that artists won't make any money and they're not successful. You never see like a successful business person and that's a billionaire, that's an artist. You know what I mean? Like it's always this like tycoon that's either in real estate or some sort of business that was built or whatever. So it's just having the courage to do that. And it's so interesting. And this is why I'm obsessed with astrology and why I became an astrologer and wanting to give readings to like help other people. It's like really more for a hobby. But when I look at my astrology chart, it clearly shows that I'm an artist. Like it shows that I have like a business acumen and that I can do it. So I get why I like stayed with it. It wasn't like I went in that business acumen world and got ejected out because it just didn't work. Like I get why, but I did have this super strong artist signature that was just like waiting to be tapped into. And that's the power and beauty of astrology is identity. It really shows you what your natural energies are to like help guide you. So like for me, I I didn't know anything about astrology back then, but if I would have went to an astrologer and been like, I feel stuck at my job or I'm just not happy, I'm very anxious. Like, is there anything you can help me with? Am I going through something like a phase or what is it? That astrologer more than likely would be like, well, have you ever thought of doing art either as a hobby, to balance it out or as a career? And that would have just like given me a light bulb. You know what I mean? So I guess long story short is I figured it out with my intuition and different obstacles in my path, which all circles back to the intuitive conversation that we just had. But astrology really is the cheat sheet to that. So in summary, I basically went on an identity journey. That was actually one of the learnings of my lifetime is I didn't know what my exact identity was, and I had to go on a journey to find it, and I finally found it. And I'll tell you, it's like night and day. My body is in the best shape it's ever been. Like I was working out like a crazy person before just to get in the shape that I'm in now. Now I can just do like, a few yoga classes a week. Like it's crazy, like the difference. Um, and my mind super clear, super grounded. I don't have depression. I do not have anxiety. I mean, I'll feel like high energy in my body. I wouldn't say it's anxiety. I'm just thinking of like the differences of the then and the now once I found like it's because I found my natural inherent energies and just like leaned into it. So there's really no dissonance in my body and I'm 100 million times happier too. So I'm more radiant, more magnetic. So that was pretty much my story. It was that exact thing, is finding my identity. And I laugh because astrology is the cheat sheet. You look at it for 5 seconds and someone could have told me that, but it took me, a couple decades to figure it out.
And that's okay because sometimes it takes a whole lifetime to figure it out. So, art can mean many different things.
Mhm.
But when we're talking about art, Jaclyn is actually, she draws and paints. That's what we mean by art. Like, she's actually incredibly, incredibly talented. So definitely check it out. All of her socials and links are going to be down below. But astrology is also an art. Astrology is
Ah,
also an art. Like that, so is Ahai. Ahai is also an art, right? So it's like all these things are creative, but astrology is an art. And when I first started getting into astrology, and I took level one astrology, but I was like, being an astrologer wasn't for me personally because I feel like it's a whole career, it's a whole thing like on its own. It really, really is an art using your intuition for astrology in the reading. It's not just like looking at the chart and being like, oh yeah, this and this and this and this. It's kind of like reading oracle cards or tarot cards. Like you're looking at the chart and it's like you're tailoring it to the actual person. The thing is though, two people can have the exact same chart. Let's say they're born at the exact same time. Two completely different people, right? And it's like you can read this person's chart and this other person that has the exact same chart will have two completely different readings. It's the way that the chart interacts with your frequency and your energy and your life path, and the way that you are interacting with your life path, the way that you are interacting with your own life and your own decisions. And it's like astrology is just like a base. It's like a guideline. Like for me, because of me learning about identity, me learning how to speak my truth and come into myself and ground and follow my own path and just open up my throat chakra, like astrology actually gave me permission to be myself. You know what I mean? Like I have two charts that I work with. My first chart is Cancer Leo, and at the time when I was learning about astrology, I was really in my Leo phase. And I resonate with most of the signs, right? And so I was really in my Leo phase. I was Cancer Leo. I was on the cusp. That's why I say Cancer Leo, and I'm also Leo rising. So there's a lot of the water and fire in my chart. Even in my second chart, there's a lot of water and fire. It's like a whole theme. But it really gave me permission to be myself because when I started looking at my chart and looking at like the different aspects of my chart and personality, it resonated so deeply to my core that I'm like, I need to show people who I really am. Like I need to stop like I was hiding. And I realized I was hiding. I checked myself. And then coming into my second chart, I'm like, wow, this and Jaclyn is the one that read me my second chart. Like we've had many sessions with Ahai in astrology, and the second chart, it's Sagittarius and Pisces, resonates so much to me now. Those two signs are spot on to my personality now that it's just like it's just really validating. Like it's really validating. So if you're new to astrology, or even if you're not, but you just want to get your chart read, like highly recommended because it's so validating. It really brings you home, I feel.
yeah, definitely. I just one example is coming to mind. Yeah, I know actually someone with this exact example, but it also relates to me. So there's a few different people. It was basically this situation where every time I would say something that I like really felt like it was so valid. Like it wasn't like a casual thing. It was like a no, this is what we should do, or this is my thoughts. Like something like profound, maybe of a serious energy, not like playful. I would notice like throughout my life as a little kid, like even up in my career, I noticed like people they would like feel like I like threw a water balloon at them or something. Like it was like I like hit them with a dart. And I would always think like, oh my God, I'm just too big or too abrasive, or maybe the way I say things is too aggressive or whatever. Like whatever the narrative in my head would become. And the truth of it is like once I studied astrology and like learned about everything, I just look at my chart and basically my words, Mercury was square Uranus. Uranus is like a shocking like energy. So basically words that come out of my mouth can have a shocking energy to them. And I've seen this in different people where they have their Mercury conjunct Uranus. So it's literally Mercury is like blended with Uranus energy, that shocker energy. And then they're like, yeah, the things I say are just so abrasive to other people. But some people might not be able to receive that Uranus energy. If it's like, no, 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 it has nothing to do with you. It's just like your energetic like map of your energetic composition is you have this shock factor. So with astrology, you can see that, but like if you didn't know, you'd just be like, oh my God, I'm so abrasive. But now it's like, oh, I can use that for my advantage and like just know that like when I want to say something like really profound, it's gonna have a shock factor. And maybe I should use that, to help. Like, all right, hey guys, let's do this. This is the path. This is the thing, or this is my experience. And whenever someone has an abrasive, like, reaction in their body or their face or whatever body language, it's just like, okay, that landed, or that landed in like a shock factor way. I accept it. It's like accepting it instead of thinking I was doing something wrong. It's like, oh, wow, this is just how I am, and embracing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have so many examples of that from my own chart. And very similarly, I don't have Uranus in Mercury, but I'm sure we could find it somewhere in my chart. We don't have to, but it's somewhere
Right.
there of how I speak and how I talk. And growing up, I well, first of all, I have a very dry, sarcastic sense of humor. I have different variations of a sense of humor because we are not one thing. And I
Right.
really, if I have one message, I would love, this is a side topic, but it's like, we are so vast and we can be a different person tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next week, next month. Like we're so we have so many different personalities that we can just tap into and like we can be whoever we want. Blanket statement. But growing up, I was always told that I had a tone, and it's like as in a bad way. And I never meant it to be a bad way. I would either be joking, not like I don't take most things seriously. That's been a part of my personality since I was a young kid. Like I like to live life and have fun. And so it's like if my like voice or whatever is dry, the sense of humor or whatever, it's like I'm not actually taking this seriously. Like I actually don't care. Like I'm not taking this seriously at all. Like I'm just joking around or having fun or just being playful or whatever. But I was always told that like I guess it's literally my voice box. It's the way that my voice sounds. It sound like I don't know, to some people it sounds like abrasive or sharp or tone or like whatever, and I've been told that growing up as a kid, like, oh, like you have like change your like you have a tone, like you sound like, and I'm like, I don't know how to change my voice box. Like I like either you can
Right.
receive it or not. I'm not going to change to accommodate, to appease others. Does that make sense? It's like a people pleasing energy. It's like teaching me how to people please. And it's like, I'm not going to have this high pitch, sunshiny singing voice because I don't have that. Like, my voice sometimes gets deeper or lower, like sharper. And it's like, it's not changing yourself for other people. It's like with the chart, like, and I even found that in my chart, and I've had different readings of like, no, like this is who you are, and it's like it really like allowed me to accept myself too, and to forgive myself, and to allow others the space to react however they want to react, because that's really not about me. That's about their journey. And I've triggered a lot of people. That's just how it is. I trigger people by my energy, by my presence. And I've always kind of been aware of that, especially as an empath, because I can feel other people's reaction to me and emotions. It's not my responsibility to manage other people. Like it's their responsibility and it's their journey. And part of my journey is to be who I am in order to spark things in other people. The more that we work on our own energy field in terms of spirituality and ascension and energy work, the more we raise our frequency, If someone else isn't at that frequency, it triggers them to either allow them to grow or not. And that's their choice. It's nothing to do with me.
And it anchors more into the understanding of who am I really, you know? And then that also flows into trust yourself. And then that flows into trusting your intuition and taking greater leaps and then just like following your path. So I do think it is all related. One is more of a foundation, understanding who am I? What are my energies? How do I like to operate? And you touched on this a little bit, is like we aren't just one thing. Like I'm not just an artist. I also am an entrepreneur and I also have an extensive background in analytics and I used to teach Excel classes. But you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, what do I want to flex between? Do I want to be that analytical woman that, you know, has all these formulas stored in her brain of Excel formulas? Or do I want to be the artist that looks at life through a colorful lens? And guess what? I can flow between all of those. Like, I don't have to just be one identity. We have, you know, all of these energies within us. And the beauty of it is which one do we want to pull forward and which one do we want to lean into? And if sometimes we can get stuck in you know, an energy that isn't fully meant for us, like I was saying with my career, I was getting stuck and feeling it in my body when I was actually meant to be more creative. And that's fine. That was a learning lesson. But it is all related now that we're kind of like vetting this through to the intuition. Because it's like once you know who you are and you have that foundation, you have that self-trust, you have that understanding, the intuition, I mean, just completely, you can lean into that wholeheartedly and just see where it takes you, which is incredible. Big things. You can do anything you want in the whole world, which is
Yeah.
like such a vast statement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's a really underrated statement. Like, I feel like we always hear you can do anything you want. People like don't take it seriously because they don't fully trust and believe that. But especially in this day and age, with the opportunities and technology that we have the opportunity to literally do anything you want. And yes, we still have the narrative, like the old narrative of, no, you can't, it doesn't work, it's not going to work for me, understandably. But it's really time to transmute that because there are so many opportunities to you can do what you really enjoy. And
Yeah.
it's time to start doing that, right? Like, and I'm learning that too. Like, it's a forever ongoing journey and a process, but it's like that's all we really want is to be able to do things that we really enjoy. And for a long time, I did not know what that was. And I'm still learning different things that I enjoy. I've come a long way. And it's really important to sit down with yourself and really understand who you are in terms of your identity, what you enjoy, your hobbies, what you like to do, what lights you up. Like, and that can be a journey, and that's fine if you don't know right now, but it's like really important to start to figure that out because why are we here? Like to be abrupt, to be direct, why like I'm not here to not do things I don't enjoy. That's not why I'm here. Like that would be like that to me it sounds really ridiculous to be here and to enjoy this life experience and to not do things that I enjoy. Doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. And I think like there were different generations before like my generation of like that was their whole lifetime. was doing things they didn't enjoy and then it just trickled down. So it's like a declaration. It sounds like you're like, listen, it stops with me. We're doing things that we enjoy and we're gonna figure it out. We have amazing technology. Yes, it might be challenging. Yes, maybe if I want to be an artist, yeah, maybe I need to have a side job or and then figure out how I can monetize it. It doesn't need to look like a certain template or format or anything. And I think that's the beauty of it is like we literally can do whatever we want. Like there's the resources are there, the information is out there. So,
Yeah, we can transmute the word hustle. It's a different form of that. It's like you can go to your 9 to 5 or your side job or your part-time job or your whatever and still do work on the things that you enjoy after and start to build that up or start to do those things. Like there is no definitive answer. You get to be creative in your own life. It's really about tapping into your creativeness. It's like if you want to make music or do this thing or make art or like do streaming or gaming or whatever, it's like there's 24 hours in a day. And yeah, we sleep for some of them, but if you really want it, you know, we can still go after it. And that's what I find so incredible is there's so many really inspiring people out there that are doing their thing and have worked so hard at it. And we can also transmute the phrase working hard too, because it's like you're working hard, but you're lighting yourself up because you're doing the things that you enjoy. So you're actually feeding yourself more energy rather than draining your
yeah.
energy and depleting it. Because when I'm feeding myself more energy and I'm doing the things that light me up, I need less sleep.
Well, you're more magnetic. That's a great point.
You're
Is
more
like
magnet,
when
you're
you
more attractive, like energetically, like, right? And so it's like I've spent many hours, I like editing, I like making videos, I like coming up with creative concepts and ideas. And I've taken a break for a little bit, but I'm getting back into it now. And it's like I can spend 9 hours a day editing a video because I love to do it, but it's like I am putting in the work to do it, but it's like it's filling me up, like it's lighting me up.
I mean, one of the biggest examples, I don't have the laundry list. I used to know it, but all of these huge businesses started in like a garage, like Apple computers, Facebook, like
Everyone
all
started
these
from the bottom.
like everybody started from the bottom. I guarantee you the guys who made Apple, that wasn't their full-time job. Or, I mean, I should look into that. Or Facebook. I guarantee you he was doing something else, to support himself and like just making it work, following his intuition. There's a bunch of other companies. But yeah, I mean, it's just like an example of like, we don't have to have it all perfect and then go into it. Like we can kind of like juggle being an artist and having this, corporate job or side job and then figuring it out. Like it's okay to like
Yeah.
figure it out and follow your intuition. Eventually it comes together.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even like, there's been a lot of content that I've deleted recently. It didn't feel like me anymore. But at the same time, it's like I don't have to wait for the big lighting and the expensive cameras and the fancy this or the fancy that. Like, I'm just gonna start making stuff, and then that stuff will come with time. As I learn about the different technology and whatever, it's like you just have to start somewhere. You just have to start
Exactly.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So this segues beautifully into the next topic here, taking your power back and reinventing yourself. Is there anything you want to say specifically about taking your power back? I mean, I know we're kind of touching on that already, but because this is taking your power back, is taking responsibility for your life.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that would be my biggest message. There was a moment in my life where I mean, it was like significantly like heartbreaking events had happened and it affected my entire life, like from a working standpoint, from a personal standpoint. I'll spare the details, but basically, it left me feeling powerless for a long time. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, I'm not powerless. I have me. Like, I have my experience, I have my mind, I have my personality, my playfulness, my talents. Like, it's like you could take everything away from me, take away all my money, you could take away all my belongings. Like, I have that. I have all of those things I just mentioned that are always going to be with me, my mind, my, personality, everything, my creativity. And there was just like a moment when I realized I was like, why don't I just pick myself up off the ground and just walk toward a direction that I want to go on. And I started to do that. And I started just putting one foot in front of the other. I didn't need to have this like grandiose plan of like, okay, I'm starting this business and I'm going to raise money and all these things. Like that's like the corporate, way of like a startup. Why don't I just pick myself up, move in the directions, just start slowly and just go with it. And then eventually it just had that aha moment of like, as humans, like we really aren't powerless. Like we can always take our power back. And I thought of this in my own life. I was like, okay, where do I have people, places, or things that aren't adding value to my life? And adding value can be a vast amount of things. So it's up to, each person to decide what that means. I can't like define that, for everyone. But it's like, where are they not adding value? And where can I take responsibility and put up a boundary and say, hey, this way of operating between us, let's say it's a person, this way of operating between us or the way our relationship is not working. It's not bringing me happiness. Can we do it this way instead? Or maybe that person just isn't meant to be in your life because, they're at that spot of like where they want to it's like a viewpoint difference. It's like they want to hold their original viewpoint. Maybe you have an elevated viewpoint or you just are on two different pages. So basically the separation between that person or that place or that thing. It's like having the courage to walk away. And eventually I just did this like audit. It was not easy. It was very hard. And I'm not going to lie about that. And when I did that repeatedly, it took me about a year and a half to do this. I just said no to everything that didn't make me happy. And it was a lot of stuff and it was very painful. And now everything that I have in my life, people, places, things, brings me so much joy. And that essentially gave me like all of my energy back because I wasn't like focused on, oh, what is this person thinking of me or saying about me? Or that's energy drains. Now I have all of my energy back. I have all my power back. And I can move forward with all of that. And what does that mean? Like in like a tangible way, it means that when I'm working on a project, things are easier because when I put my energy focused into something, things just line up for me or people interact with me. It's like this underlying sense of respect. Like they don't play games. Like I don't have to like do these wild negotiations where I'm trying to get my way. They just like if I'm trying to negotiate with someone, they're just like on my page organically. It's because I don't have that dissonance energy in my field of like people who operate one way and it's severely like a big discrepancy between the way that I want to operate. So like that, all of that energy is cleared. And these are all things that like money can't buy. Like it's all energetic. Like money can't buy, life being easier in like a true way. Like money can buy life being easier to a point, right? But not to like fully, like 100%. Like yeah, you can spend a lot of money to have all these people do these things for you or whatever, but you still have to get more money to fund, all of the people that do the things for you. It's like it's like when you have this energetic, it just happens. Like I don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get people to do things for me. It's because I cleared my energy field and it just happens. You know what I mean? So essentially that saves me money because I did that. If I'm just relating it to like our earthly desires, usually, having money in the bank is like an earthly desire, right? So I'm just trying to connect the dots there. But yeah, I think I know taking your power back is very underrated, I would say. Because I would hear that in podcasts or, people saying that, and I'm like, all right, but does it pay my bill? Yes, no, yes, it does. It does pay your bills. Just like I illustrated, you literally don't have to spend energy, time, money on half the stuff. If you just take all of your energy back and move forward. And if someone is like, standing in your way, or that's like perceived they're standing in your way, okay, put up a boundary and say, hey, listen, this has to stop, or like we can't have a relationship. It's literally that easy. It doesn't feel easy and it can be heartbreaking, but it is like that easy of like, does it make you feel good? It's black or white. Does it make you feel good? Yes or no? No. Okay, it has to go. It's too expensive. It's
It's too
draining
expensive.
your energy field.
I love that last correlation piece of it's too expensive. To me, your energy is currency. Your
Yes.
energy is value. So, how are you spending your currency and your value for yourself? That's a direct correlation. Taking all your power back, clearing your energy field, it's
Yes.
it's deeply loving yourself first. It is boundaries, it's not people pleasing, and it's honoring your desires first. Like it's really honoring yourself and clearing your energy field. So like clearing your energy field of other people's opinions and energy and projections, with all different tools that we have, right? Grounding, identity, coming back to yourself, doing shadow work. That's all like energy work and clearing your field as well. And Ahai is very helpful for that as well. But that is getting you in alignment. So what that's doing is it's clearing out any frequency or energy that's not naturally yours and calling all of your energy back through energy work and through also like earthly practices by saying no to things that you mean no to and yes to things you mean yes to. It's bringing you in alignment and like bringing when you're in alignment, you are attractive and magnetic to the opportunities and people that are in alignment with you. So that's just bringing you in opportunities, whether that's going to be money, friendships, opportunities, business partnerships, whatever it is that you're desiring, whatever it is that's meant for you and meant for your highest and best will find you because now your field is clear. Because sometimes like energetic downloads or opportunities can come in that aren't really meant for you because you are holding other people's energies. So the energies are being like energy attracts energy, right? Like the law of attraction, like attracts like. And so if you're holding other people's stuff, the stuff that's meant for you might get lost in the sauce kind of thing. And I feel like that's true for me too, of like that happened with me a little bit. And I just had to clear my fields, especially being an empath. Like I take on other people's energy. So it's really important for me to clear out the field so that I can come back in alignment and be true to myself to receive the opportunities and relationships and things that like are in alignment with me. And so that's something that I wanted to emphasize that you were saying of like clearing your field and being in alignment, taking your power back is setting up your reality to receive and attract in the opportunities and the things that you are desiring.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important to emphasize because I know we can't see energy. I mean, some people can, they're very gifted,
Like
but
physically see it. Yeah.
yeah, physically see it. But it's like, and there are energetic exchanges going on all the time. And it's not in like a warning, be careful, but it kind of is, where it's like, okay, if we have certain people, and I'll give a real life example. If we have certain people in our life, it's quite literally their energy is flowing into our energy field because we are allowing that exchange of energy. A boundary is where it puts up like just a visualize like literally a wall or a block. And then you can move it to like interact and close it. Like it's not like a full on stream of like their energy, is my point. This is just for the visual. But the real life example that I wanted to give is like I've had people in my life where I love them very dearly, and it's just their energy. and the way that they live their life is not the way that I would want. And I found myself like thinking of their problems, solving their problems in my head. I was like, oh yeah, they could just like do that and this. Like just literally solving their problems. I remember one time I was up all night, like thinking of my friend's problems. And then I was like, wait a second, wait a second. Why am I doing this? Because what happens is their energy is in my field. Now I'm processing their problems. Me processing them is not helping them. Okay. Not helping the person. But what it's doing is it's blocking my own processing. Okay, my own brilliant ideas, my own brilliant intuition, my own, senses, my own happiness. Because if I'm thinking of someone else's problems, I'm sorry, that's not what brings me happiness and joy and lights me up. So it's dulling me in a way. And imagine this going on. If I didn't catch this, this was like one catch, but imagine if this went on for like years. I'm just being like blocked by this energy. It's just flowing in, and we don't realize it because we're like, oh, well, we make excuses. I feel bad for them, or I'm just trying to help, or whatever. That's fine. But actually, what's trying to help is putting up a block, blocking their energy from coming in, a boundary, blocking it from coming in. You clearing all that out, thinking clearly, being magnetic, happy, getting your own ideas, moving forward, leading by example, and then they can see that and then kind of like carbon copy it of like, wow, how did she accomplish this? Or how is she so happy? Or this or that. And then they make tweaks. That's the way to help people. So I make a joke. I'm gonna write a book someday, I swear.
Yes, you
This is the
should.
statement. Boundaries, like I just visualized, boundaries equals money. It does, straight up. Because if you put up boundaries to those energies, those people, places, or things, that is in your, in your mind, clogging up your own like happiness, your own thought processes, your own sleep. Like this example was like blocking my sleep. So it's like my body, essentially. Human foundational needs, sleep. It's like if you clear that out, then now I have all this energy to, magnetize in opportunities and money and like, it boundaries equals money, I guess is my point if you take anything away from that story. But I just wanted to visualize how important it is with who we're exchanging or what we're exchanging energy with and like just like the actual impacts, even though we can't like physically see energy, most of us.
Yeah. And like, okay, there's so much there. Um, for me, it's your energy as currency. Like, how are you spending your energy and what are you valuing? For me equals money. So like you can come up with your own thing as well. Like these are just, if none of this resonates with you, no worries, just leave it. But it's like this is what it means to us. And it's like we've sat here and tried to figure out what certain energies mean and how this works and how this works, especially as energy healers, right? And so I know that a lot of people that are probably watching this are probably empaths and or energy healers as well. And so if you found this video, you're most likely an empath or some type of intuitive psychic medium. Even if you think you're not, you are, I promise you, because we all are, but you're probably a little bit more sensitive to it. What you're describing as well is like the responsibilities of being an energy healer. I mean, this has happened to me too, right? I take on other people's energy and I transmute it for them and I send it back. But we're doing it naturally. We're doing it unknowingly. And my whole life, I've done that unknowingly, transmuted, because what you're doing is you're processing it for them and then they're receiving the work already done for them. And they're receiving your downloads and your problem solving and your transmutation of you transmuting their own energy and they receive it back. So you're doing energy work on them without even knowing it, right? And it's just that exchange. And it happens to me a lot too, where it's the responsibility of being an energy healer is, yes, I do energy work. And yes, I have sessions and all this type of stuff. And yes, I do things for my family, my ancestors, just naturally. and I take on that responsibility. I allow that because now I'm aware. I'm aware of where my energy is going. So now I can say, yes, I want to do this, or I take on the responsibility of this, or no, I don't take on the responsibility of this. So now I have awareness of what's happening and why I'm doing those things. And sometimes, like, if I'm thinking about things, this doesn't normally happen to me, but if I am thinking about things at night, I'm like, okay, we need to ground, we need to stop. But it's the responsibility because allowing the other person to handle their own stuff is helping. And it's not our responsibility to take on other people's energy. It's not. We are born with these gifts, so we can do something about it, but it doesn't have to rule my life. I'm still my own person. Yes, I have these gifts, but it's like I don't have to be doing this all day, every day to help everyone else around me and not know who I am because that was my whole life. And I lost myself in the process. And it's not fair, right? So it's the responsibilities of being an energy healer, responsibilities of being an empath. And I really accepted the responsibility a year and a half ago, officially. And I started doing energy healing 4 or 5 years ago. So it's pretty recent that I accepted my responsibility in that role. But yeah, it's pretty wild to have that ability to transmute energy for other people. But yeah, having the boundary, and it's okay if you want to help and support your loved ones. Like, that's not what we're saying at all. It's just like, remember to also honor your own energy. Put up those boundaries when needed, because putting up the boundaries allows the other person to take responsibility for their own stuff too. Right? Because it's like, if I grow up with somebody, if I know somebody for a long period of time and I'm just processing for them, that's doing them a disservice because now they don't know how to, and this is all unconscious. This is all like subconscious energy going on, right? We don't realize really what's happening, but it's not allowing that person to take responsibility for their own thoughts, actions, and energies because we're doing it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's another, viewpoint on it's through an energetic lens on how things work and the impacts of certain decisions, allowing dense energies of someone else's problems into your life and how that can it's pretty devastating actually. Like it can affect your sleep. Like I said, it was affecting everything for me
Yeah.
and how just a simple boundary and boundaries are loving. They're not meant to shut people out. They're meant
No.
to be loving and supportive and saying, hey, I know you're going through this, but this is something that I feel like, you need to really think about and sit with and feel into and tackle on your own. I can't give you the answers. Like I can't, I've done everything I can do. Like it's like that's more of like the conversation versus your energy is so bad. You need to block.
Yeah, no.
No, not that, not that.
No, it's all with love. It's all with love. I also want to mention that for boundaries, when I'm talking about that, I don't mean boundaries are not about controlling other people. Boundaries are about how you are managing your own reaction and your own energy. I typically don't answer phone calls. If you're calling my phone, I probably won't answer lovingly, lovingly. But it's like it's an energy disruptor. It's kind of abrasive and a shock to my field. So I like to plan phone calls. I like to plan things. Voice memos are okay. So like these kinds of conversations I have with my friends, like my immediate group or who's interacting with me, and they know this, but I can't control other people's actions. So I still have people call me out of the blue or like this and that or like, whatever. And it's like, I can reiterate my boundaries and it's like, lovingly, I don't answer phone calls that I'm not expecting. And I accept voice notes, I accept this, but I can't control the people. And it's like, I want to schedule phone calls between this time and like not on the weekends or like this time or Sundays work better. But those are my boundaries. So those are how I'm going to interact with you. But I can't control other people. So if other people are not really listening, that's not my problem. So if other people are like going to be calling me or doing this, and it's like, I told you what my office hours were and I told you what my boundaries were, and that I'm going to uphold that. So that's when I'm going to interact with you or how I'm going to interact. And it's like either they get it or they don't, but it's not my responsibility to manage how they're choosing to interact with me. So it's like boundaries are all about like your own energy. I hope that makes sense to people because when I first started learning about boundaries, I thought it was about like when other people weren't doing what I said, I would get mad and upset. Like, you're not hearing me, you're not listening to me. But I realized it's like, that's on them. I don't have to interact with you. It's like, I can't control other people. It's my responsibility to manage my reactions and my energy and how I'm going to respect my space and my time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And this conversation is so relative to like the time right now because we just entered, it was like the middle of May, a new like 2.5 year chapter of Saturn going through Aries. Aries is identity, boundaries. Aries is the expert at boundaries. Saturn is like the, you know, diligence, get it together, energy. I mean, we could talk for hours about Saturn. That's only two words to describe that planet. But my point is, this is the time as a total that everyone is going to be working on their boundaries. Saturn through Aries is boundaries. That's boundaries energy to a T. And this is in I mean, it's in your entire life, but if you get specific, it's in that specific section of your chart. So, like, whatever house your Aries energy in, that's a specific focus for you. And it's just started. So, it's the next, 2.5 years to focus on.
Well, it's definitely going to be coming up in more conversations for sure, I feel. This is a whole conversation of grounding and identity and coming back to yourself. It's a huge theme. It's been a huge theme in my life personally for a really long time. And I love that we're getting into those themes for the collective. To close out this lovely episode, I would love if you would like to talk a little bit more about your current offerings.
Yes, definitely. So, as I mentioned, I'm an astrologer, energy healer, and artist. So, I do astrology sessions if you're interested in, like we were talking about today, learning more about your identity. So, doing identity work, your natural inherent energies. I can help you with that. High energy healing. Perfect. We do it with, astrology or just like a high energy healing session. Sometimes it's nice to not talk and just lay back and receive and clear the energy field. So I offer both of those. And I have a special offer that I'm starting up. So it's new. I'm only taking limited submissions, but it is a personal style out chart guide. It's a whole resource for you. So, what I do is I look at your natural energies with your astrology chart and I suggest outfit suggestions, style suggestions. I feel into your energy of what your energetic map wants to wear. So I use my intuition there. I have 20 years experience. And yeah, it's a great way to step into your authentic self and just embody who you came here to be from a physical standpoint, right? Like feeling good, looking good. So I'm starting up that since it is so in depth, I can only take, a few clients. So I would jump on it sooner than later. But yeah, all of my information is on my Instagram, Jaclyn Carmen, and we'll have it in the show notes, the links. So I'd love to help out. It is so fun for me. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I'm so excited and happy for you because you're including your fashion into this chapter. And for me, fashion has been huge for identity because I've just been playing with different pieces, playing with different styles, different colors, coming back into myself because for most of my life, I dressed like how I thought other people wanted me to dress. And I felt awkward for most of my life, basically, because I looked like what I thought other people wanted me to look like, but it
Mhm.
never felt true. But one of the ways that I feel like I've lost a part of that youth for me is just my style of just not feeling confident enough or not even knowing what my style was. So I love the style guide. I find that really, really, really cool.
Well, thank you. Yes, I mean, you're right. It just is the launch point of everything. Confidence, feeling good, feeling your best, showing up as your best.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm happy to help.
absolutely. It absolutely affects your energy field. The thing is like when you feel like you look good, you feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Um, do you and be happy and forget about what other people are saying. For real.
Well said.
For real.
Well said.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time.
I really appreciate you being here. All of your links are going to be down below. And thank you so much. It was so much fun to catch up with you and chat with you.